Hi, welcome to the first video in a series that I will be recording myself playing the game Kingdom Death Monster. This game is kind of a mix-up between Monster Hunter and Dark Souls. So it's a resource gathering, co-op, giant monster hunting campaign. This game was actually kickstarted a few years ago, but it just recently came out because the designer Adam Poots put so much time and patience in developing this game. This game I've played maybe 2 or 3 times. I really didn't get that far into it. Like I said, it's a campaign game. It takes place over a 25-year playthrough where each time you sit down and play, it's basically a 1-year process. You go out and hunt a monster, and you physically do the battle, and then you go back to your settlement where you actually gather all your resources and you can craft, you can do innovation, so you have like a tech tree, and I just had a blast playing this, although it's really, really hard. Like I said, I've only gotten up to maybe about year 8 before either I thought I was going to lose eventually, but really I wanted to tape this for all the friends of mine that haven't been able to play this with me, or those of you who are deciding or sitting on the fence if they want to buy this game or not, because it is a pretty high price point. I wanted to do my first true series of me playing this, because it's a blast. It's a great storytelling game. So just to give you a little bit more of a background, it's this world that you don't really know anything about. You wake up as a survivor, you're unarmed, you don't know where you are, and I'm going to actually show the story to everybody before I play, and a giant monster pops out, and you have to fight for survival. The odds are stacked up against you, and like I said, you don't know why you're there. So hopefully you guys will enjoy the story. I will be explaining how the game is played. I probably don't have the best strategies, so don't think that you're going to learn the best from me. I'm just here to have fun and to really show my friends and everyone else out there what a great game this is, and I hope I can do that justice. I will be showing all 3 of the phases in each year. I will be doing some edits, so you won't see me just sitting around deciding on what I should do. I'm going to try and edit that all out so I can show everybody exactly the good parts of this game. So yeah, thanks for watching, and this is going to be year 1 of the settlement that I will be naming Dagobah because of Star Wars. The new Star Wars movie, which I am thrilled about, comes out in just over 2 weeks. So I'm going to name all my survivors, all my characters based on Star Wars heroes, so hopefully we can all relate and cheer Luke and Leia and everyone on. Thanks again, guys, and welcome to year 1 of Kingdom Death Monster. Once upon a time, there was a place of carved stone faces. A man with a lantern lay sleeping a dreamless sleep. The man knew nothing. One day, the man woke up. He rubbed the dried ink caked over his eyes and opened them. Around him, he saw other people stirring, and beyond, a horizon of unbroken darkness. A woman approached the man with the lantern, her soft hand reaching out to him. They had no words. They were a mystery to each other. Suddenly, a monster emerged from the darkness, its eyes wild with hunger. It attacked. The people were no match for the monster. It tore their flesh and crushed their bones between its teeth. Some it devoured whole. Overcome with terror and grief, the man with the lantern collapsed to the ground. Cold stone noses pushed into his side. There was no escape. But the man did not want to die. Desperately grasping at the cold stone faces, he felt a crack and tore at it with all his might. A piece of stone came free. It was sharp and deadly. The man with the lantern scrambled to his feet, his weapon clenched in his fist. He took a deep breath and roared into the darkness. Somewhere in the place of stone faces, nameless men stand together. They have nothing but a need to survive and a lantern to light their struggle. So that was a taste of the story, basically the welcoming to Kingdom Death. Like I said, you just wake up in the middle of nowhere, you don't know what's going on, and you're fighting for your life. When you start Kingdom Death, you start off with 4 survivors, they're called. Comes with 2 female models and 2 male models. So I'm going to give you a quick rundown of what they look like and their character sheet and the starting gear that you have. So like I said, I'm going to base my settlement and all my figures off of Star Wars. So we're going to take our first look here at our first survivor. This is going to be Obi-Wan. Okay. The detail on these figures are amazing, and what's really sharp about them is really all the gear, items that you craft in this game come with their own little plastic bit. So you can actually customize your figures as you go along as you play. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to be gluing them or magnetizing them, which is probably really the best thing to do. I'm just going to be using some like fun tack, just so we get the appearance, and I'll be able to move on pretty quickly. But the unfortunate thing is you just start this game off with 1 piece of armor, some cloth that you get to wear. It provides 1 armor point to your waist, and this founding stone. This is that stone that your survivor finds on the floor. And quickly, the number on the top is the number of attacks that you have, the speed. The 7 is what you need to roll that are higher to hit a creature, and the 1 is how much strength it adds to your attack roll when you try to wound the creature. Then there's a special ability on the bottom. And the founding stone, you can spend an action to basically throw this weapon. It automatically hits and it automatically crits the monster that you're fighting, which is very powerful, but it's a one-time use, so then you lose the founding stone. It's not something that I really want to try to do if I can help it. Taking a look at the character sheet here, you have the name of your character, a bunch of stats, like permanent stats that can move up or down. And what's important here is, here's your armor points. So when you get attacked, you can get attacked in many different locations. So you do start, like I said, a 1 in the waist, so that blocks 1 point of damage. And that's really about it. So we have Obi-Wan here. My other character is going to be Qui-Gon Jinn. He looks pretty mean. He's holding a stone in his hand. My third is going to be Padme Amidala. And then my 4th survivor is going to be Ahsoka Tano. So hopefully they all survive, because they will be fighting. Our first creature here is this giant lion. Now this is a Prolog white lion, so it's going to be a little bit weaker than what we're going to be fighting afterwards, but it's still pretty tough. I'm not sure if everyone's going to even survive. So let me go ahead and set the board up. Something else that I want to point out is there's a lot of... the game is pretty simple, but there's a lot of rules that people were unsure of in the beginning. The other day, actually, they posted an official FAQ, which cleared a lot of things up, which is why I was kind of waiting to release a lot of these videos, because I did have some questions on a few things. But if anyone notices something that I'm doing incorrectly, please post in the comments and let me know. I want to be as fair to playing this game, and things can swing mainly against me in this game, and I want to stay true to it, because yes, would I love to win? Absolutely. Again, I've only made it to really year 8 in this game, so I'm here for the storytelling, and I want you guys to enjoy it, but please point out if I'm doing something wrong. Alright, so I'm going to set up the board, and I will see you for the first the first showdown phase. So we're set up here. This is going to be our first hunt phase. The first showdown phase. Okay, the prologue line, like I said, you have to set up exactly 6 spaces away from the monster. Basically, this ring around him, and you can have him face any way that you want. Because it's Kingdom Death, the monster does get to go first. How the monster acts is he has like an AI deck. It's a bunch of different moves that makes up his move set. The prologue line tells you exactly what moves to place in this deck and which one is on top. Everything else is randomized. But whenever you do wounds to a monster, you'll start discarding some of these cards, as you'll see. When all these cards are done and you do one more point of damage, that's when you actually defeat the monster. So I think he has 11 wounds that I have to chew through. So let's see. Like I said, the monster gets first action, so I draw one of the cards. And the first one's going to be Claw. I'm not too sure if you can see that really from here. But what I just want to show you is you read from the top to the bottom of the card, which I'll be reading to you for each move. And that explains how the monster reacts and who he attacks. That's how you can do this game. It makes it so much fun because it is co-op versus all the bad things. So the first move is going to be Claw. Pick target. Closest threat, so that's anyone standing up that could actually harm this creature. Facing, so it's this, anything from basically the front arc of the monster is facing. He has a 360 degree view of range, his field of view it's called, except for the 2 spots behind him. That's going to be his blind spot, so I can kind of hide back there for most part, and you'll see it does change. But the first move here is going to be Claw. So closest threat facing in range, they're all 6 spaces away, so when it's like that, I can actually decide. So that's why I set my guys up this way. I'm going to have him go straight at Obi-Wan here, closest threat facing in range, and then he's going to move and attack the target. So this lion comes charging at me. His movement is going to be 6. You can only move basically north, south, east, west motion. You can't go diagonal in this game. So he's going to move up to Obi-Wan here, and he's going to take his claws and try and whack me with them. His speed is 2, so that means he gets 2 attack dice. They're D10, 10-sided dice, and his accuracy is 2+. So whereas I need a 7 to hit this lion, he only needs a 2 or more to hit me. Each attack does 1 point of damage each. So let's see what happens. Comes after Obi-Wan, he slashes his claw at us, and 2 hits, of course. And then you roll these pretty sharp-looking dice. These are like where in the body you actually get hit, what hit location. So I roll each one of them. I get hit in the body and in the foot. So I take a little mark here on my sheet. So that's 1 point in the body and 1 point in the legs. Again, I only have that cloth armor, so I don't block anything. If you don't have armor in a particular location, you have a light injury box, and then you have a heavy injury box. So because I took 1 point in each, I check my light injury. Every time you take a light injury, you're fine. Nothing happened. It's kind of like a scratch. So he clawed me, hit me in the body and the leg, but Obi-Wan's okay. If I get hit again in that same location, it becomes a heavy injury. When that happens, I'm still okay, but I fall down. When you fall down, you basically lose your next turn. But any damage after that, so after my light and heavy is checked, then I have to roll a d10 die on this severe injury chart, which is horrible. Never want to do that. So for right now, we're pretty safe. He just charged at me. We woke up. We found this lion. He just rushed at us and, sliced up my belly a little bit. But we're still standing strong. So now I'm going to counterattack him. His move's over. I'm going to start with, I'll start with Obi-Wan, right? He got attacked in the chest. So he's going to go. I can move my guys in any order that I want. My movement is 5. So I'm going to actually take that hit, and I'm going to go behind him. Because if I attack him in this blind spot, I actually get +1 accuracy. So instead of needing 7s to hit, I'm gonna need a 6. So let's take a look. Obi-Wan gets hit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Runs behind him. He's gonna try and counterattack this lion. Show him what's up. I need 6s, and I get nothing. I one and a 4. That doesn't even add up to a 6. So, showing that lion who's boss, I guess. Let's move over here to Padme. All right. 1, 2, 3. Padme's gonna get behind him again. Attack with the Founding Stone. 6s. Nope. Closer, but nothing. So 2 misses. This lion's pretty quick, I guess. You can only move and attack, or attack and move. I can't split it up, or else I would attack with her and then back up so I could have another free spot here, but I can't do that, unfortunately. So let's just move forward, right? Let's keep trying. Someone's got to stab him. Now I need 7s to hit. Watch me hit with 7s. Okay. Maybe I feel bad for the lion. And I don't want to hurt him. Maybe he reminds me of like a little pet that I had. Boom. All right, first hit. Qui-Gon. Yeah, he never had. He was a dog person. He never had pets. He didn't have a pet cat. So he hits him. I draw the top card in this hit location deck. So each boss has their own specialized deck. Whenever you actually hit the creature, you pull one of these cards. It tells you where you actually stabbed the monster to see if you actually wound him or not. So let's see where Qui-Gon plunged that little stone. In the hand. Strange hand here. So this little stone dagger hits him in this hand. These white lions have like oddly shaped human hands. So let's see here. The top half of this card actually has a condition. So it says failure up here. So if I fail to wound the white lion on this roll, this is what's going to happen. Also, there's a special little crit box. If I roll a 10 on the 10-sided die, then I crit the monster. The top part doesn't happen, and then I get to read this cool special thing, which is always pretty fun. So the toughness of the white lion is a 6, because I guess it's like a young cub. Qui-Gon's base strength is 0. I'm not that strong. But the Founding Stone gives me a 1 strength. So 6 minus 1, simple math, is a 5. So I need to roll a 5 to wound this lion. Whoosh! A 9. Boom. 1 wound means I don't have to do the failure at the top. And then I discard the next card in the AI deck, and I put it to the side. Now, I don't get to know, maybe you guys can see what this card is, but I don't. Which is a really sharp idea, because as you go through the deck, I'll see what moves the monster actually has, and when when you go through his whole deck, you reshuffle the cards, and you see his moveset again, but you can kind of start figuring out what moves the monster has left, and you can play your strategy around that. So, 1 wound. I would have liked to have done a little bit more in the first round, but unfortunately, that's all I could do. So now the monster gets to go again. Whew. That is the absolutely wrong card. Alright, size up. Pick target. Random threat and field of view. So, again, the 2 people in his blind spot is not his field of view, so it's going to be either one of these characters. So either Qui-Gon or Ahsoka over here. So I'm just going to randomize who I roll. D10, 1 through 5. Nope. Okay. So it's going to be Ahsoka. Basically, he sizes him up. He basically turns around. He's like, oh, you trying to attack me? He stares at him. Stares at Ahsoka and just tries to intimidate her. So that's really what it is. Intimidate target. Stares down its prey. Turn to face the target and roll a d10. It's a 1. So she didn't even care. She didn't care. Again, she had pet cats growing up. That's why she didn't want to harm this one. Didn't even scare her. That's it. Nothing happened. So that's great. So I'm going to move on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's see if Ahsoka was intimidated or not. She wasn't. So she's going to stab him back. 7s. That's 1. She takes out that stone and stabs it right into the neck of the lion. You strike at the monster's throat. Alright, looking for that 6 or 5. Boom. It's a 9. It's another wound. Trying to intimidate Ahsoka over here. So you get jabbed in the neck. Alright. Qui-Gon, which is now behind, is going to attack. 6s. 1 hit. Okay. In the glorious mane. I don't know how he attacked from behind and attacked the mane of the monster. Maybe he jumped on the back and started attacking the hair. But the glorious mane is an impervious hit location, meaning that I can't wound it, because when I stab at your beard or your flowing locks of hair, I'm not going to hurt you. But I could critically wound on this card. So I still get to roll a die. Looking for a 10. I only really roll a 3, so nothing happens. It's a blank. It's a blank. But now I'm going to move with Qui-Gon just out of the way, so Obi-Wan can jump in from behind. See what I get to attack. One hit in the heel of the monster. So I clip the tense muscles of the heel. That makes a little bit more sense. It's another wound. All right. Hey, I'll take wounds like this all day. All day. Chipping away at this line right here. Padme gets to go. It's her turn to attack from behind. That's the way she likes it. 2 hits, a 10 and an 8. So for each hit, I do draw a hit location. Flip them over, and then I get to pick which location I want to attack first, in case there is a certain reaction that I wanted to avoid or whatnot. But it looks like neither of these have any special reactions. One's the soft belly, and one's the femur. So let's do the soft belly first. Okay, let's see if this I can stab this belly and hurt it. Critical hit. Yes. That is the most exciting thing that can happen in this game so far when playing Kingdom Death, is when you roll critical hit on a monster, because then you get to read this really cool text. See what happens after I jab this belly here with this founding stone. Critical wound. Gain 1 random white lion resource. All right. So basically, each creature, like I said, it's kind of like Monster Hunter, where you can get resources from monsters as you beat them. So each monster has its own special resource deck. So here's a white lion deck. Because I critically wounded this monster, I get to draw one of them. So I guess out of its belly, I get a great cat bone here. So maybe this monster was eating another lion, and in his belly, his bone popped out. Or maybe this is its rib. Maybe I attacked one of the ribs through the belly, but that's good. So here's an extra resource. That was Padme, right? Yes. Yes, I think so. Maybe I should take a better look. All right, Padme is the one who has some clothes on. Ahsoka does not really. Maybe it's the other way around. I think Padme's better to not have clothes on. She only has this thing, so. Alright, so let me give that to Ahsoka. Ahsoka's the one that... Ahsoka, alright. Sorry, I'm getting all confused over this. Ahsoka was the one that had the pet. Alright, whatever. Alright. Makes more sense. Padme, no shirt, Ahsoka had the kitten, the whole story, attacked him anyway, didn't get intimidated. Okay, cool. Padme. That's 1 wound, so I still get a wound. I put that in the discard pile. Sorry, that took 10 minutes for me to figure out what character was what. Now my next attack is in the femur, and it's a 1. So that's a miss. No wound there. But hey, whenever you get resources, that's the name of the game, because I need these to craft new items, level up my settlement and whatnot. So I'll take a resource. All right, monster's turn. This little kitty's a little upset. He's been getting beat up here. Chomp. Closest threat facing in range. So again, that's going to be nobody. So I go the next step. Closest threat in field of view, which is going to be these 2 guys. So it's going to be right here. It's going to be Ahsoka, right here. Move and attack. So it's speed 1, hits on a 2 more, and only 1 damage, but it's a special attack. It's called Headhunter, so it always hits the head location. So it is a 5. So that's a hit. I don't need to roll on the location because it's a headhunter. So she takes 1 point of damage in the head. The head is the only location that doesn't have a light injury. So I have to check off a heavy injury for Ahsoka, which causes her to fall down. So she's basically gonna miss her next turn. She doesn't stand up until the end of the monster's next turn. Okay. Now I will say right now every character has these survival points. They're called. Whenever you name a character, they gain 1 survival point. And right now my max limit is 1 survival. I can spend that survival point to dodge. It's the only special move I have right now. I can basically dodge any one attack. Attack, because sometimes the monster gets 4 attack dice. Alright, they get 4 attacks, but I can only dodge one of those hits. I can dodge 1 hit. So I could, if I wanted to, dodge that 1 hit to the head location so she doesn't fall down, but I'm going to save it for a time when I think I really need it. Maybe when I would have to roll on that critical injury chart. So I'll take the 1, Yeah, I guess the line here decided not to stare at her and figured maybe if I just hit her in the head, or chomp on the head, or maybe if I bite her in the head, that would be a little bit better. And I guess this kitten was right. I was right. So now it's back to my turn. Padme here is going to go again. She's going to move to the rear end again of this monster, looking for 6s. That's one of them. And I attack in the knee. This time, attacking the legs of this creature. That's an 8. That is another wound. I'm already having to reshuffle the deck. So again, I'm down to the end here. I've got Claw, Size Up, and Chomp. So I already know what move's going to come out on this monster. I do have to shuffle this deck up, so I don't know what's going to exactly come out next, but I can kind of plan. Nothing too crazy. And the monster's already down to 4 wounds, so hey, I'll take it. Obi-Wan, let's see what you can do. Looking for some 6s. Show me those Jedi skills with a stone. It's a 9. Take 1. Alright, the Beast's Elbow. Oof. There's a failure on here, so I don't want to roll anything less than a 5. Which a 3 is. Last I checked, less than a 5. So it is a failure. Bleh. So that causes the monster to full move forward in a straight line. Cancel all hits. So in case he had other hits, I would lose them. And any champion, I'm thinking League of Legends, sorry. Any hero that the monster passes over suffers grab. Grab means the target is knocked down and placed in front of the monster and takes 1 point of damage due to monster level. Again, this monster's really only like a level 1. So I try to hit the monster. Obi-Wan hits the monster in the elbow. Basically just pisses it off. So it will move forward, tramples over poor Ahsoka here, drags her with the monster, and then runs to the edge of the board, so it just stops there, and we'll place Ahsoka right here at the edge. So Ahsoka basically gets dragged across the floor on her body. Her body gets a little beat up here. It's a light injury. She's okay. So as the monster runs by, dragging poor Ahsoka here on the ground, Qui-Gon's going to jump in behind and see what he can do. 6s. Man, Qui-Gon's already sucking. He's sucking. Up to the monster. The monster now is going to size up. Random threat and field of view. So we're going to randomize these 2 guys in the back here. It's going to be Padme. So this is the Intimidate. He needs a 4 or more. It's a 4. The monster stares down its prey. Turn to face the target. The target suffers 1 brain damage per monster level and is knocked down. So Padme gets a little scared. She saw Ahsoka get dragged across the ground. Had her chesticles get a little scratched up. And now the lion turns around and stares at Padme. I guess she got a little spooked out. So she takes a brain damage. So besides the different physical locations on your body that can get attacked, basically your brain or your mental damage can get hurt. So you can basically get scared fighting these creatures. These creatures are pretty pretty scary looking. So she takes 1 point of damage there. You can get brain armor. It's called insanity. So I guess after, you know, being in this land for so long, you just get immune to the craziness. But right now, she didn't. So she takes 1 light injury on the brain. The next point she's gonna have to roll on a critical chart. So let's hope that doesn't happen. And she falls over. She basically just stumbled over. The monster's done. And that means that Padme. That means that Ahsoka. Jeez. Ahsoka stands up. And let's see what happens. I'm going to go with Qui-Gon. Unfortunately, I can't get behind the monster. But I am going to move out of its way. One really cool thing, and you'll notice this as we play different monsters, the designer developed these creatures as if they were, this might sound silly, as if they were real creatures. Meaning, this white lion does a lot of reactions which makes it run away and charge forward. So I always want to try and move out of its front path when fighting it. So that's why I wanted to move at least Qui-Gon out of the way. I'm not too sure. He kind of sucks. I'd rather have Obi-Wan boo. But that's okay, you know. And again, this is something that you learn after a few playthroughs. So if this is the very first time I ever fought this white lion, I would be attacking him from all different angles from the front, and I would soon quickly find out that that's not the right way to do it. So again, I'm not going to give out a lot of strategy because I really don't think I have many to give. I'm not probably the best person. But that's not why we're here, right? We're here to attack this lion. Come on, Qui-Gon. 7s. Boom. 9 and an 8. I gave him enough ample time to zero in and attack this monster in the flank and in the ear. We're gonna do it right in the flank. Right in the flank. 7. Boom. Wound. And there actually is a wound indication here. So let's see what happens. Cats hate this. Yeah, I guess cats do hate getting attacked and wounded in the flank. Who doesn't? The monster is very upset. Attacker gains a priority target token. Alright. This is the priority target token. I give it to Qui-Gon, meaning that the next attack the monster does is gonna go after Qui-Gon, really no matter what. Because he's, you know, the cat's upset. I wounded him. Attacked him in the flank. See what happens when I try and wound and hit him in the ear. Oh my goodness. Critical in the ear. I'm sure cats don't like this either. So let's see. Critical wound. The force of the blow damages the white lion's ear. It is now partially deaf. White lion gains -1 accuracy token. All right. So instead of this monster attacking on really a 2 or more, it will now be attacking on a 3 or more. All right. Let me grab my -1 accuracy token, which I will always forget about. So I can put it to the side here, but I'm gonna put it like right here in front of me, so I remember. All right, Qui-Gon is done. Did a good job. 2 wounds. 2 wounds. I didn't even get rid of a card. All right. So the monster just has size up left. So let's see if I can. Let's see what I can do. 1, 2, 3, 4. This is with Obi-Wan. 1 hit. And it is a beast scapular deltoid. Alright, there's a failure on here, so I don't want to fail. 5 is not a failure. Because it's a baby, it's like a baby lion. Whew. Or else he would have ran forward and messed up one of my survivors here. Would have messed up Padme. But that's a wound. I get rid of size up. So there's no more AI cards in its deck. All it has left is its basic action. So when there's no cards left, it will always go back to its basic action, which is basically target closest survivor in field of view, and it attacks. So if I do 1 more point of damage, this silly little white lion, which reminded all of my characters of their pet cats, is going to be destroyed. So let's go with Ahsoka down here. She's going to get the last attack in. It's a 7. see what this last hit is. And the beast tricep. The last point of damage right in the tricep. Boom. It's an 8. Stab this line. This was actually a pretty clean fight. I'm surprised. My armor didn't get hit. I didn't lose any of my clothing. I'm not naked. That's helpful. I don't know why. I wouldn't want to fight naked. So, tricep. That's the last wound on this creature. And now whenever you kill a creature, you again gain resources. So I get 4 white lion resources. I'm gonna get a shimmering mane, some white fur, a lion claw, and some sinew. All right. And I get 4 basic resources. I got 8 resources in total, plus that great cat bone that I got from earlier when I jabbed its soft belly. I get a monster organ, a broken lantern, which I guess maybe it was eating, monster bone, and some monster hide. Well, that was a pretty clean fight in Kingdom Death. Again, it usually doesn't happen that way. I'm sure I usually lose one character or someone's hurt or bleeding. You know, it wasn't that bad. So I'm gonna set up my first settlement, and I'll plan out, what I'm gonna build off camera. So I will give you guys, you don't have to wait through that, and I'll give you a recap of what happens and what I'm gonna build to move forward. Thanks for watching. So we're set up here for our first settlement event part of the game. I've got the board out. It's like the tracker board that you follow. Then I got my references right here that we're going to go over. So the first thing is you set up this board, and then survivors return. So all 4 of my survivors come back from the fight, and they gain something called endeavors. So basically, in game terms, I get 4 actions. For every guy that I have that's coming back, I get 4 actions that I get to do in the settlement phase. Whether it's because of their knowledge of the fight or maybe their excitement, I'm not too sure, but they're called endeavors. So I have 4 endeavors that I get to use now. And then I draw a settlement event. Now, most of the time, or really all the time, you draw a random settlement event. But for the very first year, there's a specific one that's called First Day. So let's go ahead and complete this one. The survivors wander, drawn to the blooming light in the distance. They find the serene comfort of a towering pile of lanterns and a small collection of scared people. On a deep, instinctual level, they know the area is safe, and they make it their home. Oh, that's nice. I'm not alone out here. Roll a 1d10 to determine your starting population and record the result on the back of the settlement record sheet. Choose and record genders for unnamed survivors. You may name an unnamed survivor and create the record sheet at any time during the settlement phase. Alright, great. So I roll a d10 to see how many people I found. A 4. Ah, right. That is not the least amount. So 8 unnamed survivors plus a returning survivor. So I have 12 people in my settlement. Update the settlement location or section of the first story and proceed to update the death count. Alright, and then this card will never happen again in my settlement or in my campaign of Kingdom Death. So after my settlement event, I go to update the death count. Well, that is a 0, besides the poor little white lion that I killed. So nothing happens there. Then I move to the update the timeline. So I'm using this differently made record sheet here. So I check off. This is like my first year. And it shows me that there's actually a story event that happens. And that is called Returning Survivors. Which is why I have this book open right to the page here. This is kind of what happens when I came back. So nominate a survivor to utter the first words. So I'm going to use Padme because she was the one that cut that white lion open in the belly and got me that extra gear, which I actually totally forgot that I had, which is going to be helpful because I'm going to get an extra item for that, which is good. So returning survivors. Padme. The nominated survivor steps forward and gains +1 courage. All right, so let me update that now. So Padme gets this +1 courage. Your survivors can gain things such as courage and understanding, and basically they can level up and get certain benefits that way. Also, for every returning survivor, they have this tracker at the top here, and they basically gain hunt experience. So I'm going to check that off for all of my returning survivors. And once it gets to 2 checkboxes, 2 experience, I basically level up, I guess you could say. So that's good. So Padme gains +1 courage. They lead the other survivors to learn to speak to one another. They discuss their situation, realizing they must hunt to live. Add the white lion to the quarry list on the settlement record sheet. So from here on out, I can go hunt a real level 1 white lion. Hooray. Your settlement also gains the language innovation, which is this. So this is our very first technology, even though it's language, that I get. So let's take a look here. Survival limit is +1. So I update that on my sheet. So all my survivors can now have 2 survival, which is good. And we gain encourage. So encourage is once per round, if standing, I can spend 1 survival to call out to a non-deaf survivor, and they stand if they're knocked down. All right. And then I basically now build a tech tree box. So I add these like language consequences. So once I unlock language, I add these other innovations to a deck, which are now I'm able to basically try and gain these as well. Basically build the innovation deck. Okay, great. All right. Glowing Center. Armed with language, the nominated survivor aptly names the glowing settlement their home. The Lantern Horde. The settlement gains Lantern Horde settlement location. Basically put it up face up in front of you. The nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde. So this is the Lantern Horde, which is, oh, check that out. It's that picture right there. Lantern Horde. So this is a location. The nominated survivor sits in front of the Lantern Horde in awe and gains +1 understanding. Alright, Padme. She is starting to know what is going on. Hopefully she can tell me soon. They must skip the next hunt phase as they ponder the meaning of existence. Alright, so Padme, she taught everyone how to speak, which is great. We're not grunting anymore. She understands that this place is her home. And she basically has to sit out the next hunt. I can't bring Padme, which is a little unfortunate, but that's okay because now I have, 11 other people that I can bring. So now I return to the first story to complete the settlement phase. Okay. So I have the Lantern Horde here. Okay, and all my resources that I have from the previous fight, except for that great capo, which I forgot about, which is going to be really helpful. So now I can actually spend these resources. So I have it mapped out here of what I want to build. Now, again, this is maybe my 3rd-ish time playing this. Really second on my own. So normally what I'll do is I'll take all my resources from the first year and try and gear up my guys really quickly with weapons and whatnot, and I'll skip trying to tech up the first year. But you know what? I really haven't gotten far in the past. So I'm going to try and do something completely different, and I'm going to try and tech up my first year right away and go in with some pretty crappy gear. I don't know if this is going to work. It's worth a shot, So I'm going to spend 3 resources. So let me go ahead. The Lantern Horde here allows me to do a few things. I can spend these endeavors, which is this sign here, to build 3 other locations, which is going to be the Bonesmith, the Skinnery, and the Organ Grinder, which I'm going to spend. Because if I don't spend my endeavors, they just go away. So why not? So I build those Organ Grinder, Bonesmith, and Skinnery. These are different locations that I can basically craft. It shows you here, this is like my weapons, my Bonesmith. These are the different weapons that I can build, and their cost. Certain things I need, like ammonia I need in order to unlock. Game's really cool. it's awesome. If you like any sort of RPGs, video games, this game is great. And I can also, down the road, upgrade this bonesmith into a weapon crafter. For another endeavor, I need 3 bone and a hide if I want to make like my weaponsmith a little bit stronger. Cool. All right. So I'm going to, besides the lantern whore, what else the lantern whore can do is I can innovate. And this is when I can tech up one more time. And I can do this once per settlement phase. So I spend an endeavor, which will be my 4th endeavor, a bone, an organ, and a hide, which I'm going to do right here. Bone, organ, and a hide. Shuffle up the innovation deck. I draw 2, and I pick 1. So let's do that. So I get drums and paint. So let's see what I'm going to decide on. Drums, I can spend an endeavor to gain stuff, but I'm out of endeavors, so I might not do that. And paint. The settlement swells with creative energy. All survivors gain the dash survival action. Dash means that I can spend a survival to gain an extra movement. So honestly, both of these I think kind of stink for the first innovation. It really didn't help me that much. I was looking for maybe another survival. I don't know, but you know what? I'm starting to get my tech up, and that's really what I wanted to do. So I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with paint. Get dash. And when I unlock paint, I can add paint consequences to the innovation deck. So drums goes back into the deck. I'll grab paint. I'll get the other cards later. I'll add them to my deck because I'll try and do that next year. And these resources are spent. After that, I'm going to spend a White Lion Claw. So this is a White Lion specific item, but it can also be used as just a bone. I'm going to build a bone blade. Basically, it's a little bit stronger than that shard that I have. It's 2 strength, but it's frail. Frail is when I attack like a super dense area, it could break. So it could break down the road, but I just need something small right now. And I really only thought this was going to be the only weapon I was going to purchase. But like I said, I have that extra bone here, so I might buy a dagger. Who knows? You'll see if you watch my next video when I go into year 2 what other item I'm gonna bring. I also was able to get a shimmering mane the last fight, and what's cool about the shimmering mane is it can count as 2 hide. So I'm gonna use this one resource to get 2 hide, and I'm gonna purchase a rawhide headband from the skinnery and a rawhide vest. So that's going to give 1 armor to both the chest and the head location. The chest comes up twice on the hit location die, so it's pretty often, it's more often that the chest is going to come up. And the rawhide, again, you don't have a light injury in the head location, so that's why I picked these 2. And I'll show you what these little boxes here, these little infinity boxes, it's kind of like a gear. When you match these, you get like special items. I'll show you that next year when I show you what characters I'm going to bring with me. And then I have 3 remaining resources. So a broken lantern, which is scrap, which I can't use anything right now, so that's a waste. A white fur, which is a hide, which I could use to build another piece of armor right now. But I'll let you know a little bit of a secret. Next year, if I kill a lion, I get a special like white lion building, and I can use this white fur to start making specific white lion gear. So I'm gonna hold on to this, see if I can survive. Again, this is kind of risky. I usually also build like a ranged item because I think range is pretty important for one particular card when you fight a lion. So I'm kind of chancing that I don't run into that card because I kind of want to build a bow. I can build a bow next year with this sinew here. So this is why I'm also not using this as an organ. I'm waiting. So I'm really gambling here. And again, it's because I know what's coming. But again, I don't know what's happening really far off in the game, which is great. But at least for right now, I'm gonna save. I'm gonna save these. So yeah, thanks for watching. This is the first year of Kingdom Death. It was a pretty easy fight. Honestly, it never goes that way. And you'll see when I fight the next White Lion, it has toughness 8. And I think it has a few more wounds, so it's going to be a lot tougher of a fight. I'm not really going in geared up because I went with the innovation the first year, so I'm a little scared about next year. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully the rolls are in my favor. Again, thanks for watching, and yeah, I will see you next year for the settlement of Dagobah.